On this episode of the podcast, we are interviewing, or at least I am, a local Bay Area raised content creator, Mark Cayabyab.
What up, guys?
As a freelance videographer, I run into many obstacles both creatively and financially. So I met with inspiring and motivating individuals who are breaking these boundaries, turning their passions into a source of income. My goal is to gain a new perspective through the experience and challenges they face each and every day. My name is Vallejo, and this is the Creative Crucible podcast. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Hey, thank you so much for coming here, man. I really appreciate it. You know, we've been planning on doing this and getting you on an episode.
Yeah.
Because I understand we do similar work, but we have different ways of doing it. You know, I would say we have different methods or just a different journey in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what exactly do you do?
I'd like to call myself a content creator. I primarily specialize in more towards video than photos, but I like to do both. I don't like to, I guess you say, pigeonhole myself. So.
Oh, okay. So in terms of content, what kind of content do you do? Do you do commercial or anything like that?
I would love to do commercial, but promotional work, brand work, stuff like that.
Okay. What more recently though? What about the clients?
The recent clients that I've been having is more like branded stuff. Mm-hmm. So like influencers or I guess you say like realtors,
okay,
and stuff like that. So
yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people like to make fun of that word influencer.
No, yeah.
So do you ever notice when people are talking about other people, they're always like, "Hey, he or she's an influencer," and they do the little hand code things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so rude to say about anybody. Well, for one, you're kind of you're pretty much admitting that you're insecure if you're going to make fun of somebody like that.
Yeah.
But the one thing is the whole influencer marketing thing, it's such a brand new thing that a lot of people don't understand it. So maybe that's why a lot of people are kind of making fun of it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's kind of like, oh, you don't do commercial work, you do branding work for influencers.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, doing a commercial and having it air on TV, that costs tens of thousands of dollars to get done, right?
Exactly.
But I feel like with the kind of work you do, it's like, hey, instead of paying like $30,000-$40,000 for a commercial, let's build your brand on the online space. Not a lot of people are watching cable television anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone's on Instagram and YouTube. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah, so I mean, really, that's just where our world is today, man. So I want to know, how did you even get started with this whole being behind the camera thing?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. So I've had like a weird journey, I guess you could say, and how it started off for me was actually wasn't into like cameras until like after college. And I guess I started doing videos when I moved to Sac State. And ever since then, I was just like doing little vlogs in here and there, and I wasn't doing any like guess you say like paid work, just all content creating stuff,
Right.
And then I was actually going to school to become a doctor, and I was going to Sac State to finish up my pre-med and hopefully transfer out. But stuff happened, just to make a long story short, financial stuff happened, moved back to the Bay, and I was just like, okay, it's either I go back to school or I do something like super, super crazy. And I was just like, how dope would it be to like get paid to do these videos and then just live my life and get paid to create and be a creative? And then ever since then, I just implemented that, and then it's led me to opportunities here and there.
Sick,
so
dude.
Yeah.
But you were vlogging at the time.
Yeah, I was vlogging. So like, I like to say I've done videos for like 4 years. First 2-3 years was just like straight up like vlogging, Casey Neistat and all the other stuff. And then literally 2 years ago, I was just like, or last year, I was just like, hey, why not try to reach out to these people or like to these businesses? So I've done that, and I mean, now I'm here.
Dude, it's funny that you say that you reference Casey Neistat right now, and it's like, he seemed to be like the ultimate vlogger for everyone. Anybody who ever got influenced or motivated to do vlogs or vlog their own life, it was all because of Casey Neistat. And I think the reason for that is because he was like the one person who did a daily vlog first, right? And then, but like, it wasn't just like a daily vlog for like a month or two. This dude did it for like years in a row. And it's like, how is this guy doing it?
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And as you already know, he's like he's a really good storyteller. Like literally, it could be like, I would watch a Casey Neistat vlog, right? And it would just be him going out throughout his entire day, and it would just say something like, "Oh, I had a great lunch today." That would be like the title of the video, right? But super, super discreet. It would be an entire like Mavic Pro like marketing video. I was whoa, he did not mention Mavic Pro at all in the title when I clicked this. I did not expect that, but shoot, I'm gonna buy a Mavic Pro now.
Yeah.
So I mean, someone like that, I feel like it's made possible. People like where the term influencer comes from, and even like the whole branding thing. Because I mean, look at him. Is there anybody else on YouTube that you currently enjoy watching? I know you just said back then you like Casey Neistat. Who do you like today?
So I'm not more into like vlogs. I'm not into vlogs as much as I was before. I mean, I think for me personally, I like to watch, Gary Vee. I mean, who doesn't know Gary Vee, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, stuff like that, because I feel like that's more impactful as opposed to like vlogs. Although I feel like vlogs are very entertaining and it shows the influencer marketing aspect. But the fact that like, Gary Vee is just out there documenting, it's like nothing too fancy, but he's just like hitting home with like the value and like changing people's lives. I think that's something that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, and the thing about Gary Vee is I feel like has the one thing, it's like the whole self-awareness aspect and then the whole clarity thing.
Yeah.
I used to listen to Gary Vee a lot, and when I first heard of him, I was like, dude, this guy is such a bullshitter. Like,
Dude,
but no, like, because it seemed like he was trying so hard to sell a fantasy, right?
No, yeah.
This whole fantasy lifestyle and whatnot. But when you constantly listen to his podcast or even like Daily V, you notice like this guy is saying the same exact thing every single time.
Yeah.
So now I know, I was like, okay, well, he's not bullshitting because although he's repetitive, at least he's not pulling things out his ass just to like make stuff up, right? Just to make you feel good.
Yeah.
Because he always talks about the whole baseball card thing, right? How he sold baseball cards, and I hear that every freaking time. And although it's annoying, it shows that it was the foundation where he started his whole entrepreneurial mindset, right? Don't you think so?
No, exactly.
Yeah. But some of the people that I like listening to today has nothing to do Gary Vee related. I still watch Peter McKinnon, man.
Yeah, no, his stuff is sick.
Yeah, so I remember about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, that was maybe 3. I'll say pushing 3. That's when I got my first camera. So just like you, I started behind a camera a lot later in life. A lot of these, beast filmmakers we know, like, dude, these guys have been like filming on Super 8 since they were 6 years old. But it wasn't until like 4 years ago where I bought my first camera, which was a Sony a6000. And I was going on YouTube and then just like looking at gear reviews and stuff like that. And then I saw like this one video where I think it was called 7 Camera Hacks.
Yeah.
It was called 7 Camera Hacks. And it was just like this guy named Peter McKinnon.
Yeah.
And then at the time he had like maybe 12,000 subscribers. And I was like, who the heck is this guy? And this guy is like, he was super positive and happy about sliding his camera over like a rag towel.
Yeah.
Like a little rag towel.
Exactly what you're talking about.
I was like, what? I don't need a gimbal or a slider to get those shots. And then, that's where I subscribed to him at first. But I mean, I think he's super cool. It's crazy. Have you seen some of his more like recent films, like even like the Bucket Shot?
Yeah, I watched some of his stuff, and like, dude, his video production like stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially his storytelling. And plus the fact that he's a very good storyteller, and it's Peter McKinnon, it just makes things much more worthwhile watching.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing, the crazy part is although he produces and directs like really good short films, he's also directing the Angels and Airways documentary. But if you even go on his website and like all of his bios, he only markets himself as a photographer.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I was like, wait, hold on. This guy has a whole ass film crew now, and like they're shooting on reds. And it's like, what's up? I'm a photographer from Toronto, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly, dude.
Oh man. So what was the turning point though? Because you said you went to Sac State, you wanted to do pre-med, but then you were doing daily vlogs at the time.
Yeah.
So what kind of inspired you to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try a different style of video.
Yeah.
I understand you do a lot of travel videos. If you're watching on the YouTube stream right here, you can see, if you see this little slideshow here, this is Mark's portfolio and a website. So that's markcayabyab.net. We'll make sure we plug it at the end later. But yeah, what was kind of like the turning point?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I was doing videos for like 3 years. First 2 years, you know, like vlogs, not daily vlogs, but I mean, I would try to put as much as I can out there. And I didn't see any traction. And obviously, when you don't see numbers pop up, you know, kind of like, you kind of, I guess you say, like, feel inflicted inside.
It's so
like,
discouraging,
no,
dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was just like, dude, I only have like 25 subscribers. I have like 100 plus videos. Like, what the hell? So then I was just like, dude, F this, man. I'm going to delete it. So I deleted my first YouTube channel. And then, you know, I would watch like Sam Colder. Right? Who doesn't know Sam Colder, right?
Oh, everyone knows Sam Colder.
Exactly.
That guy's the drone god.
Dude, yes.
Like, if there's anyone who made the orange and teal, like, a thing on YouTube, because orange and teal was always been around. Ridley Scott has done it since the 70s, but in the YouTube space, Sam Colder. I'm sorry, please, go ahead.
No, it's all right. So, yeah, like, I was just like, dude, this guy's making, like, sick travel videos. Like, how dope would it be to, like, travel the world and make content how you want to make it? And I was just like, okay, I think I need to step up my game. I think vlogs isn't for me. So just like you, I was just like, dang, what am I going to do? This was like December of 2017. And I was like, dude, like, F this Canon T3i, no continuous autofocus.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I need to step up my video game. So I ended up going to Best Buy before January because my girl was taking me to Japan. And I was just like, dude, I'm going to get this Sony a6500. I'm going to put it in my credit card. I'm going to do monthly projects. And from there, I mean, that was what the turning point was.
Dang. So that was almost like a leap of faith, just like putting that on the credit, because it's kind of like, it's like, look, I'm putting down almost $2,000 on camera gear on money I don't have. I better crush it to freaking pay this back, you know? And I gotta say that is pretty ballsy, man. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to do that today. Maybe. But okay, so you went to Japan, and then did you do a travel video of that one?
Oh shit, no, I'm sorry. It was in Japan. It was what was my first monthly video? Dang, I forgot what my monthly project was. No, but it was just like concepts, you know, just trying to like try new things, whether it's like doing transitions or, you know, learning to do, as you say, sound effects, or like editing to the music, or trying different style of videos. Like I've worked on different types of projects that would potentially make me better in the long run.
Why'd you go with Sony though?
Just because I heard it was just like better in a sense. Like autofocus was crazy, very good in low light. When I had the T3i and I was filming like, you know, low light scenarios, it was super grainy. I was just like, dude, what the heck is this? Yeah. You know, I was just like, maybe Sony will make it better for me. And then that's when I went with Sony.
Yeah, see, well, I went with the A6000, which I think was their base flagship model. And so, yeah, I bought that in 2015 on Black Friday.
Yeah.
The one reason why I went with Sony was because there was two YouTubers that were super like pushing the Sony thing. So it was I want to say it was Atola Visuals out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with her?
Yeah, I know who you're talking
So
about.
she's super dope. I love all her stuff. I hope you're watching because freaking we're trying to give you a shout out. And Jason Vong.
Yeah,
So,
Jason Vong.
Dude,
Yes.
that guy is like the Sony god. I know he posts like he actually like leads some of the Sony Alpha events apparently. Like, dude, we got to go to a Sony Alpha event.
Dude.
I always see like behind the scenes of those. And I'm like, man, I remember the recent Sony Alpha event earlier this year. They rented out the 24 millimeter G Masters to everyone just for them to try out.
No, yeah,
dude. So, anyways, we're not here to talk about gear. So what was your first paid project? How did you get it?
So I wouldn't really say it took me a long, or it didn't take me too long to get a paid project, but I've done like a few free projects here and there. But what I did was, okay, I've done like 3 to 5, videos. What is something that I could do next? And I was just like, I think it's time for me to like cold email, cold call like a restaurant or anything. So I was just like, it was midnight. I remember it was midnight, and I was just like, dude, I'm so scared to like email this restaurant. Like, what if he says no? What if he doesn't get back to me? And then I think something inside me was just like, hey, just do it. Like, you have nothing to lose. So I did it. I emailed him. I was like, hey, blah blah. I'm just starting off. I'll do your video relatively cheap. And literally in 10 minutes, he's like, that sounds interesting. Let's go ahead and meet, talk about it over dinner, and we'll go from there. And that was my first gig.
Sweet, dude. Was that through Instagram or email?
It was through email.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw his restaurant before on Yelp. And I actually went there, and I was just like, oh, this guy doesn't have any like social media stuff. And then I was just like, what can I do to make money? And there's this YouTuber guy who's blowing up, and his name is Daniel Schiffer.
Oh, come on. We all know Daniel
Dude,
Schiffer.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So he was making like these trendy restaurant videos, how to make money making these trendy restaurant videos. I was like, dude, I'm just going to go ahead and try it out. And that's what happened.
See, that's really cool. That's super ballsy. The thing is, I had no intention of getting into paid video work when I first started. I actually just got the A6000 because I wanted to take photos and stuff like that. But how I got my first paid client was I was just posting a lot of my photos on Instagram. One of my friends, I'm just going to admit it now because it's like 3 years after that project. So my friend, Jen, she was getting married and she saw my photos, but I never done any kind of wedding related content and stuff. So she was like, hey, whatever, I like your photos and whatnot. Have you ever done video? And at the time, I never did video. I never. So what I did was I tried to take advantage of the opportunity and I lied about it, dude. I literally said, yeah, I've done wedding videos before. Let's freaking do it. Yeah. I literally did it, dude. So, so I freaking went out there and I soloed my first paid gig, which was a wedding. And I used the A6000. I borrowed my coworker's A6500, and then I borrowed my brother-in-law's Zoom H6.
Yeah.
So like, dude, yeah. And then I rented an Icon Beholder stabilizer. Do you remember those?
I think so. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. Like those whack ass stabilizers. I rented it from Borrow Lenses. So everything I had was borrowed except for my A6000 and my kit lens. And then, let me tell you, I was scared. Like, I was so freaking scared because I was like, dude, I hope they don't know that I'd never done a wedding because they have so much confidence in me. Because you know how I am, and you know how it is when talking to like any of your leads. You have to be fired up.
Oh,
right?
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if you're not interested in it, even if you say something like, hey, what's up? I don't think we're a good fit to work. I'd be more than happy to recommend someone for you that might be a better fit, right? Yeah. So you mentioned when you met up with the guy at the from the restaurant and you guys had dinner together. How does the entire sales process actually work? How do you discuss pricing and things like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends per client, and it's for me, like, I have no business, background whatsoever. So it's just like what are people willing to pay, you know? And then I just told them like, hey, you know, I could do like a 1 minute, 2 minute promotional video. It's my first video. You know, I'll just do it for like, I think $100, which was something I should have pressed for more, to be honest. But I mean, it was my first opportunity, you know. I didn't want to like let that go. So I just took the chance, over delivered. And then, what do you know, like he hits me up here and there and just like, hey, can you do a video for us? So that was
It seems like a pretty good deal because I mean, I think when everyone is starting out, anyone, so it doesn't matter if you're a photographer or videographer or even a graphic designer, your first few clients, if they're either free or like very low, like $100, like you mentioned,
yeah,
if you think that this could be a valuable ongoing relationship where they're going to come back to you later on in the future and pay your full rate,
yeah,
or recommend their other business friends, because we all know business owners, they all know each other.
Exactly.
Right? They all like to be friends. Maybe they could recommend you. So I think that would be the only way anybody should accept an undercut priced project, right?
Yeah, that or like, let's say in a scenario where you want to move on to like a different, like you say, niche.
Yeah.
So then that's when you'd either, you know, charge low to free, or that's how I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think that's really, really good because that's what I've been doing recently too. Because I mean, I'm actually building a reputation of doing weddings, and I'm although weddings are fun to do and whatnot, and you meet great people, I want to focus more on commercial work.
Yeah.
And sure, I feel like the mindset, it does kind of suck sometimes because you're like, man, dude, I could be making $3,000 or $4,000 on a wedding right now, man. But I mean, I think it's the growing pains that you have to go if you want to pivot your business or even your own brand.
Dude, exactly.
And then, so after the whole restaurant job, what came after that? So I looked at your YouTube channel. It looks like you do a lot of travel content. So, which, by the way, if you haven't seen Mark's recent Japan video, when did you drop that? Last month?
No, I dropped that like, I think it was around March of this year.
March of this year? Okay.
Yeah, February, March, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what's your YouTube channel again?
I don't have a official link yet.
Okay.
But if you just look up Mark Cayabyab, I'm pretty sure you'll see this stuff.
Okay, yeah. Anybody who's listening, please, dude, you guys got to check out this travel video of Mark when he went to Japan, because it was super dope. I mean, I think you and I like both really like that moody. That moody, uplifting, you know, style. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, you do a lot. It looks like you do a lot of travel content. You do vlogs as well. I see those too. So in terms of travel, is that the kind of dream client you have? What is your dream client?
Honestly, just like stuff that, you know, that I use personally, or like lifestyle stuff that I use. So like, I mean, it'd be dope to get, you know, work from like travel tourism boards. You know, maybe like clothing brands too. That would be dope too, or like car stuff. You know, I know you're into car stuff too.
Yeah,
so
automotive. Yep.
Yeah,
that's
so
where it's at.
That's generally the route that I want to take. So I'm just going with it for now and see where it takes me until, you know, if something changes, right? So.
Yeah, so you know, I didn't even know that was like a thing. Like I didn't know that there were actual tourism boards that hired videographers because, like more locally, are you familiar with Andy Toe or Andy Toe?
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently, I think he worked with Beautiful Destinations, and that's how I figured out about the whole tourism board thing.
Yeah.
And of course, as you know, that guy is such a beast. He's a Bay Area native. So, you know, shout out to him. I hope he listens to this because that would be an honor. But yeah, no, a tourism board would be super, super cool. Even like a lot of these cruise companies are offering videography work. I've been seeing them on Production Hub and things like that. Like, are you familiar with like Princess Cruises? Princess Cruises or, I don't know, like Viking Cruise. But yeah, okay, so I want to talk about your content and things like that. So I know when you're trying to get clients, you like to cold email or cold call them, and from what you just said right now, it does seem like it is effective. How effective is social media? Like, do you think that's important at all?
Super effective. Yeah. So, there's these two influencers I hit up. You know, it's like I've been fans of them, and I was just like, how dope would it be to like be the video guy for them? So I hit them up. First guy didn't reach back out to me because I guess he's busy, and I'm pretty sure he gets like a lot of DMs about this stuff. So I hit up his friend, and his friend said yes, right? So I was like, okay, cool, whatever, you know. And then I did a video for him, and then he hit me up. I think it was like a few months later. He was like, hey, dude, I got something interesting to tell you. I was like, what's up? And he was just like, dude, I'm getting a Lexus. Lexus is giving me their car to borrow and make content for them. Would you be the video guy for me? I was just like, dude, that's so dope. Hell yeah.
That's sick. What kind of car?
It was an LC 500.
What?
Yeah,
dude. That thing's dope. Okay.
Yeah, bro. So, I mean, that was fun. I really wish I used my gimbal for that, but I mean, it's a learning lesson. But yeah.
Whoa, what happened? Why didn't you use the gimbal?
So my first car video, I did handheld, and I was just like, dude, this is so shaky. Why is it shaky? And I was like, oh, maybe it's because, like, you know, I'm not, like, skilled enough as a camera operator. So second time, or, like, which was, you know, doing that car video for the influencer, I just did it handheld, and I was just like, maybe I'm better this time. And I looked at it, and I was like, nope. It was, I should have just brought the gimbal, but, I mean... That's what happened, dude. But I mean, I thought it was okay. It was pretty cool. So
okay, you know, I feel like, but that was kind of like a DM. So I want to ask how effective it is to just publishing volumes of content.
Oh, okay,
so,
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I wanted to know that too. Whatever you just answered, that was gonna be my next question.
Okay.
So you kind of foreshadowed that. Yeah. So I mean, because the thing is, when you mentioned like you had a YouTube channel originally, right? And then it was discouraging because you weren't getting the results you wanted.
Yeah.
But now you have a new YouTube channel, and it looks like you have an actual Instagram account that's specific for your work. So how important, or like, what are you doing for those platforms, Instagram and YouTube, to gain more clients?
Yeah. So I feel like this is my little thing that I like to say. In a noisy world, you know, how do you denoise the noise? And, you know, social media now, it's a platform where you could express yourself and show your content, you know? People want to know who you are as a person, as opposed to hiring like a random video production company, you know? And I feel like that's what I use my platform for, is to showcase who I am as a person, what I like to create, and just show my personality. And if people like, you know, vibe with me, then they vibe with me.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like, you know, content's a game, and volume is as well, because, you know, like, you never know what clients will hit you up, you know, and they say, like, you know, person knows a person knows a person knows your dream client. So.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's really useful too. I mean, just trying to post as much content as possible, simply because, like you said, there's so much noise, and Instagram, for example, it's super fast paced, where it's kind of like, if you post a photo on your Instagram right now and then you go to your timeline, it'll be at the top. And then if you refresh it literally half a second later, that post is gone.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, like, I worked so hard on this video or editing this photo, now it's like lost in like in the space-time continuum of Instagram, right? So it's like, who the heck is going to see that? So yeah, I feel like volume is super important, because I feel like not everyone's going to see it. And I mean, there's always like this whole algorithm thing. It's like I don't even want to get into the whole algorithm thing, but I feel like someone's going to see it and obviously recommend. But most importantly, you're going to build that reputation on Instagram, right? Because it's kind of like, if you're posting every day, then everyone's going to think, hey, Mark is behind a camera every day, which you are.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, you get that reputation, right? So now if people think about, oh, I need video work.
Yeah. You'll automatically think of you.
Exactly. Exactly. So how would you describe your style?
Dude, I don't know, man. I feel like, you know, sometimes I question myself about like what type of style I create, but I feel like I'm very music focused. If you watch some of my videos, like, there's like fast paced parts, and I really focus on that part, because it's like, like visuals is like a piece of the cake when it comes to like making content. You have the coloring, especially the sound, right? So it's either like eyes and the ears, but like with music, music could either break or make the video. So I feel like that's part of my style. I'm not too sure. I'd like to say run and gun as well. I mean, it's nice to have all these like cool equipment and cool lighting, but at the same time, it's like when there's gonna be times when you're gonna miss a moment. That's the last thing you want to do, especially you, right? Because you're a wedding videographer, and there are times when like you gotta make sure you nail that shot, because if not, you're gonna be like depressed, and you should be like, no, I missed a shot.
Yeah, I know. I think the most difficult part about that, if I miss a shot, is telling the couple I missed the shot.
Yeah, dude, right?
Because I mean, that's going to be the hardest part,
Yeah.
But that's why I like to partner up with people like you, like the last wedding we did.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, let's talk about that last wedding. That actually was my last wedding of this year.
Telling me,
now, I
dude.
told you that, right?
Yeah.
That's what I said. So it was October 12th, and I said it was my last wedding gig of the year. I think I did it almost 12 or 13 this year, but I lied to you. I just picked up one like November 15th.
Yeah. Dude.
So I was like, okay, well, I guess I was wrong.
Yeah.
But anyways, what did you think about that experience when we worked on a wedding together?
You talking about the 2 times or the recent one?
This most recent one, yeah.
I mean, I felt much more comfortable because I actually know you now. Because I mean, the first time I was kind of nervous because I didn't know what to do. It was my first wedding. I didn't know your shooting style, or editing style as well. And then second time I just like, dude, I got to make sure I over deliver, and it's gonna be more chill because I know MJ as a person. So it was fun though, dude. Yeah. I mean, even though it was like super super long, but I mean, I had a great time. I mean, you got to work with people who are like-minded. So.
Yeah, dude, that was such a long day. So Mark and I here, we shot a wedding back in October, and it was a Chinese wedding. Mm-hmm. And as some of you may know, Chinese weddings have tea ceremonies in the morning, where some of the parents and the people they grew up with offer gifts and things like that, and it's a super respectful thing. We were there. So I live in San Jose. Mark lives in East Bay, like Hayward area.
Yeah.
We had to be in San Francisco by 8:30 a.m. We were there at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And then we were shooting all day until like 10 p.m. So we shot a 14-hour day wedding. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I was going with this. Was I complaining? No, I wasn't complaining. I think it was a really good team building thing we did, because when you mentioned when we did our first wedding together last year, that was in Cupertino. Mm-hmm. And the crazy part about that is, you're right. You didn't know my shooting style, and we didn't know each other at all. Yeah. Actually, we were strangers. We really were, because we only knew each other through Instagram, which is crazy.
Exactly.
Because here's the thing. Oh man, I'm gonna bring up this story because I think it's such a fun story, because you're talking about getting comfortable and just saying, screw it, I'm gonna DM people, or I'm just gonna network, or cold call and email people. That's how our relationship started. Yeah. So the thing is, when you and I were messaging each other, I was at Hard Summer. So I was literally at Hard Summer, like out there at the festival. Yeah. I was like, oh, the smart guy. This guy creates cool content. Maybe I should network with him. Literally almost like a month or two later, we hopped on a project together.
Dude, so
I thought that was really cool. And that really is my goal in terms of networking. Because I mean, especially with this whole freelance game we're doing, you meet tons of people, right? Yeah. But then I think it's really important to think about the next step, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, okay, well, what's the next step here? Am I just going to grab coffee with this guy and just talk about like random cool stuff and why we like Sam Colder? Or are we going to put ourselves, through the trials and see if we can actually freaking work together,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And then if we could work together, then that's like the rest of our lives to know that there's somebody out there that we can work with and use as a resource, right? I mean, dude, hell
exactly,
yeah, man. Oh man. So what is the future, man? You're a freelancer now. You're a freelancer right now.
Yes.
What's the future?
Dude, it's hard for me to say, but I honestly want to be like a straight up full-time content creator, making content like how I want to do it. Kind of like Andy too, right?
Mm-hmm.
He makes content how he sees it, and I just feel like that's to me, that's like the ultimate like creator's story, making content or making like movies, making whatever the way you want to do it, and people actually, liking the stuff that you make and put out there and the message that you want to portray or, impact people's lives. So there's that for sure. I'm not too sure what clients, but I'm just, taking it day by day, learning day by day. I mean, that's the only thing you can do, right? So
yeah. Any future trips coming up?
Not anything I could think of. No, I would like to travel more, but I think I'm just gonna chill for a little bit, pay more bills, improve my craft. So
there we go. Didn't you just come from Europe or something like that?
yeah, so I came from Paris. So that was like, that's probably one of the last international trips I'll take for like a while.
Oh shoot! How long were you there for?
I was there for a week.
Oh my goodness! You stayed in Paris?
Well, it's like a city outside of Paris. I think it's like 15, 30 minutes away. But yeah, technically
Dude,
I was in Paris.
How was that trip though? Because I was looking for some content from that. Did you have anything from that yet?
So I'm planning to make my travel video for that. It'll be like the last travel video for like a while, I guess you could say. But I mean, just recently my computer started acting up, so a lot of stuff happened. So I had to rebuild my own computer, and I had to like fix my room, and then like, as you may know, like I have a 9-to-5 too to, actually afford to go on these trips or afford to get new equipment. So I've just been so busy that I've been backed up with like making content. So I've just been repurposing my old content for now. But yeah, relatively soon I did take a lot of pictures, and I'm super excited to do the video. It's just like when you have a lot of content, does it ever get like overwhelming for you, I guess you could say, in a sense?
For me, I actually get overwhelmed when I don't have time to make my own content.
Yeah. No, yeah, I feel that.
So like I use Trello, which is I'm not sure if you're familiar
No,
with
I know
Trello.
exactly what you use.
Yeah, so I use that to kind of like manage like all of the commercial and the clients work that I have. And although it's fun to do and it is my source of income, sometimes it just makes me kind of sad because I'm like, dude, like I would sometimes I would rather just go out there and just do travel videos like you or even just daily vlog, because the thing is our specialty is not just creating videos, but it's also building brands, right?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's what you and I do. We build brands, help build brands, companies, help promote sales, and stimulate online interest with people. But we have these skills, but when we get too busy, we can't even use these skills on our own brand.
Exactly,
right?
dude. No, I agree, dude.
Exactly, right? So like I'll design like a content strategy for like a brand or a company.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, dang, this is a pretty fire ass strategy that I'm doing. Why aren't I
doing mine?
Exactly. Why aren't I doing
Dude,
it for VallejoCinema.com? This doesn't make sense, right? And then what's my excuse? Oh, it's the time. It's the time.
Yeah,
but at the same time, we got to pay bills. San Jose is expensive to live in. So, okay, let's say this. Let's say this closet right over here. I was pointing at my closet for people listening on Spotify or Apple's podcast. Let's say it was a time machine, right? But the time machine is only going to send you there and back to the point when you're at Sac State.
Yeah.
What are you going to tell Mark?
Prepare for the worst, but don't lose hope. Keep grinding. Things happen for a reason, whether it's for the better or for the worse. But at the end of the day, you'll be okay. Just keep grinding, keep hustling, and then just stay positive and have tunnel vision.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That's sick. See, you know what I would tell myself? I would
What?
tell myself, put everything on a credit card like what Mark did. Everything. Stop saving it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, don't do that, guys. It's a bad decision.
Oh, but you know, it worked out for you.
Dude, yeah. I mean,
You know?
I guess it did.
Uh-huh. So what are your, when you're going out, other than client work and you're shooting for yourself?
Yeah.
Because I think that's such an important thing, you know, and I'm a hypocrite for saying that,
Yeah.
like from what I just mentioned. What kind of content now are you shooting for yourself other than the travel videos?
So for that, I just like to do whatever inspires me at the moment. I know that's very like corny to say.
No,
But like it's just like yeah, I mean just whatever that inspires me, you know, cuz like have you ever read a book or no, let me rephrase that. So when your English teacher tells you to read a book, are you going to like be interested in reading it? No, right?
Hell no.
So like let's say in a scenario where you get a magazine or like a book about like, you know, video production stuff and that interests you, you'll be more in tune into actually reading that and taking the information as opposed to like, you know, having someone else to tell you to read something that you're not interested in.
I guess that kind of makes sense because the only books you ever really read are the ones you organically pick up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, dude, everybody, you guys got to watch the YouTube stream because dude, check out this book, man. Oh my goodness. YouTube Secrets, the ultimate guide to growing your following. So this is like one of the recent books that I picked up organically, like you're saying, and right, because it has something. It's relevant to your life and what you're doing. But please continue. So yeah,
dude, So like, content wise, just whatever inspires me. I mean, right now I kind of want to make content that impacts, whether it's just tutorial based or whatever. But I kind of want to add my own twist to it.
But who are you targeting?
Just people like me, I guess you could say. You know, people that are starting off. I mean, I'm not the best content creator. You know, I'm someone who's just self-taught. You know, I didn't go to class for like video stuff or like business stuff, dude. I literally try to exhaust all the free content that's out there and just to the best of my ability, like take what works and take what doesn't, and then just keep learning, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, YouTube University, that is like so. It's so good.
Yeah,
it
dude.
is so good. Like, because I have like another semester in film school right now.
Nice, dude.
Now, the thing is, it's mainly focused on film. You know, like in the industry of Hollywood. So it's not about. They don't talk about anything of like content creating or YouTube and things like that. But like, there's like tutorial people on YouTube, like Olufemi tutorials. Are you familiar with them?
Yes, I know who.
Dude,
exactly
everybody. I
I
feel like everybody learned from Olufemi tutorials, or people like even like YC Imaging and things like that. Like they have amazing tutorials. So anybody who's starting out, like I would suggest going on YouTube. You know, yeah. Another thing I would recommend to anybody starting out, maybe you can kind of shed some more light on this, is being involved in your community.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I feel like you should be involved with your community because, I mean, you learn from each other, right? I mean, there's always something to learn from other people if you are open-minded. But, I mean, you know, it's always good to give back to the community because, you know, you want to help other people succeed and you want to, you know, make whatever, like you say, occupation you're in. You want to help, you know, raise that occupation or, you know, like make it better. You know, you want to leave the world in a better place. And why not, you know, try committing yourself to giving back to the community or helping the community or like teaching a class or even like hiring another, you know, content creator, videographer, photographer, or whatever. So
yeah, and a lot of people don't know, although being behind a camera, you create and produce beautiful images and videos. A lot of people don't know that freelancing and content creating, it gets so lonely. Like,
dude, it does.
It is so lonely. There's a lot of, like, I'm sure this applies to you where, like, you probably have final edited videos that nobody's ever going to see because you don't think it's good enough, you know? Yeah, like, or even you just have a ton of footage. You're like, I'm not even going to edit this stuff. This is garbage, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah, and so, yeah, it, like I said, it can get really, really lonely. And I think that's why anybody in any industry that you do is get involved with your community and meet people.
Dude,
yeah,
100%.
Granted, you're gonna run into a few dicks, but most likely the majority of people you meet are going to be super nice about it because we've been there, right? So anybody listening to the Creative Crucible podcast right now, if you're just starting out right now, feel free to direct message me or direct Mark Cayabyab, because we are the majority of people who are willing to help people out, because we've been there. We've been to the points where, you know, like the first year or two when you're starting out, you're like, you look through your footage and you're like, damn, I should have done this.
Oh yeah, like fuck, the shit's
like,
so shaky.
Exactly. Or it's like you know what, this clip after that clip would have looked better if it was panning left to right, not right to left. And there's, the community is out there to help. Yeah. Right. And you know, you just got to take advantage of it. That's what social media here is for. It's not meant to like, it's not meant to market or influence you like primarily, or just to flex on shit. It's like because people want to talk, even if they're strangers. Exactly. Which is how we freaking met. via Instagram. So in terms of YouTube, and since you mentioned you want to just you kind of create like what you're feeling in the moment, and I actually like some of your recent work. The one enjoyable one that I watched of yours was, I think you did an unboxing. So I think so. I'm not too sure. I think you did. Yeah, it was almost like an unboxing, like overhaul style. Video. Okay. I really like that one a lot, simply because like the reason why it compelled me to watch the entire thing was because I know you're gonna do all this gear and blah blah blah. It's like I already know all the gear, but there was also clothing in there too. So I mean, that's one thing. I don't know why you weren't mentioning it, but dude, it seems like you're trying to get into, you want to push the fashion aspect of it too. Yeah. So like, I feel, for me as a creative, I feel like one shouldn't pigeonhole themselves in, I guess you say, getting inspired in their own niche. I mean, I know it's hella corny to say, but back in high school when I was like, quote unquote, breakdancing and shit. Damn, son. Yeah, right? Was good. No, B-boy. But no, dude, like, I would always take inspiration, like, everywhere. Because, you know, literally, inspiration is everywhere. So, like, me growing up, you know, like, I was into, like, streetwear, you know, like, Nike SBs and Jordans. And I was just like, dude, this is so sick. Like, what if I did, like a clothing haul, you know, / like electronics haul, you know? It's just like, it's part of me, you know? And that's something I want to, you know, portray. I never want to, like, be fake and be like, oh, you know, all camera gear, when I'm like, not just about camera gear, you know? And I feel like that's a part of, I mean, that's a way for someone to denoise the noise, is being who you are as a person. No, yeah, you make a really good point when you say something like that, because there's a lot of talk and advice that goes around on the YouTube space, for example, where they're talking about niching down. And I feel like the problem with that is if you niche down a little too much, that is a possibility to do. So like, if you're just like, if you say something like, oh, well, I only do camera gear reviews, it might be a little bit hard to connect, you know, with someone. 'Cause it's like, well, what about the videos where you're actually going out and using it? Or what about the films you're making with all this gear you're buying? Or like, why should I watch yours as opposed to like these other YouTuber people that are making these helpful videos? No, absolutely. And I think that's what goes hand in hand, because, for example, like I would say like the niche that you have that I saw, it's kind of like, so like, say, for example, you talk about the Tamron 28-75 lens, right? And it's like, well, why would I want a 75 millimeter lens? It's like, well, look at you. You like having fresh fits, and it's a really good portrait lens. So it's almost like content creating, filmmaking, and like just like the everyday, maybe even like streetwear style, right? So then now you have 3 different kind of like industries or funnels where people can kind of connect, because there's people out there where they're like, hey, I'm a content creator, but I also like fashion, right? Yeah. But then there's also other content creators, what's worked for them is they like making films, but they're also comedians at the same time. Yeah. Right. And like you see all these mixtures of like freaking like everything. Are you ever planning on going back to daily, or not daily vlogging, like just like vlogging? Yeah. Do you like that kind of format? I mean, I like it just because of, like to me personally, what
what really like impacts me, I know it's super corny again, like nothing like makes me more happier than someone saying like, dude, you've changed my life, or like, dude, you've inspired me to do my own thing. And you know, like there are a few friends of mine from like high school or whatever, like new people that I met, they say like, hey, you know, like, you know, I can't believe you're doing this, it's crazy, and it's just inspiring. It makes me want to do stuff on my own. And I feel like that's super impactful. You know, it's kind of like giving a present to someone and not expecting anything back.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you mean, because it's really cool to create the content that that inspires people who have been thinking about it. You know, because I think every human being in the entire world has great ideas and great plans, but then they don't have great executions, you know? But it could just be that one video, that next piece of content that you publish, that is just that breaking point. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like to be forward, if I wish, you know, even if everybody thought like, oh, MJ doesn't know what he's doing, that guy sucks, I should go make videos then. Dude, heck yeah, that's the goal. Yeah. So if somebody sees my work and be like, if MJ could make a video, I can go do it. I'm going to go freaking buy a camera today. It's like, hell yeah. Well, I'm not the ideal way of inspiring you to go do it, but I'm glad I did something.
No, yeah, right?
Oh, man.
Shoot.
So we're kind of getting to the end of our time here.
Yeah.
I just want to ask one last question, just kind of like, to the people listening, a lot of people here, they, you know, maybe they went through with whatever they wanted to, or whatever they studied in college, right? Like, for example, me, like I went in, I have a business degree, but I don't work in that field, right? So what can you say to anybody who's currently in college, they're studying something they're not interested in, and they're interested in maybe like freelancing or being behind a camera?
Dude, honestly, number one advice is always implement the what ifs. You know, like me personally, you know, I was never ever thinking of being a creative. Plan A was to be a doctor. Plan B was to be a doctor. Plan C was to work on plan B so that way I don't have a plan D to become a doctor. And like, you know, I never thought this would have happened. And I was just like, this one day I would just like, what if I just hit up a client and just did a free video for them? And, you know, that led me to like doing videos for them, you know, in like a few months. And then now I was like, okay, what if I hit up this realtor and, you know, be like a documenter, D-Rock style? And, you know, like he got back to me and I was able to do that. And it's just like, for someone who doesn't have like, I guess you say talent in a sense, but like works hard and hustles and like is open to everything, like you never know what these what ifs will take you or where they will take you. So I feel like that's something you guys should do, whether you're creative or not, whether you want to build your own business or like, you know, get a business degree, like always follow your heart. Because I promise you that like at this time and at this age right now, it's literally the best time to do it. Yeah.
And to add on to that, you know, I know exactly what the what ifs will take you if you don't execute on them. It's gonna kill you inside in the future. You know, we have a very similar origin story. You know, you were going to pre-med. I was going into like business admin. And then, so like 3-4 years ago, I bought my very first camera, you know? So I've only been doing this for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
And look, you know, even both of us, we did a total pivot on our entire lives.
Exactly.
And we committed to it. Like, nope, we're not going to do it. We're going to do it, die trying, you know? Like freaking, back then I was like editing on a like a cheap MacBook Air and stuff like that. Like I was like, even if this computer sucks, I'm gonna do video work no matter what the cost is. And I think you just got to have the right mentality and the right clarity, you know. And it gets really hard. There are really hard times going through it. There's a lot of mental breakdowns, a lot of lonely times. But like you said, you know, you got to get involved with your community. Try to reach out to people. There's people that are out there willing to help. Don't be afraid to cold cold email or cold called your clients. Create the content that you want to create, like what you've been doing.
Exactly.
And you know, there's millions of people who have access to the internet. There's going to be at least one person that's going to like your stuff, you know? Another thing, don't expect to get the results. You know, don't compare yourself to anybody on the internet.
Yes.
Because you mentioned Sam Colder at the beginning of this. So when Sam Colder blew up, dude was 17 at the time. This was years ago. Because I remember like sometime this year, I don't know what it was. I think somebody said happy birthday, Sam Colder, and dude was like 22. I was like, wait a minute, I've been watching this dude for years. So you telling me this dude was 17 when he was doing backflips into like Bali waterfalls? Right? But yeah, you know, so make a plan and just go out there and create, you know, and use your gear. That's all I can really say. I hope I didn't sound too dramatic in that last piece right there,
No,
but
you didn't,
I'm really just repeating all of the advice that you said today. So with that being said, please tell our listeners where we can find you, where we can find your work. How can we book you?
Yes. So Instagram is Mark Reyes Cayabyab. You could find my website, markcayabyab.net. You could search up my videos on YouTube, Mark Cayabyab. To book me, you just go through my website. You'll find it in like, I think contact or about, whatever. But yeah, make sure you guys keep watching MJ because he's super, super dope. And his podcast is hella sick.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate the words. Hey, thanks, dude.
No problem, man.
Peace out, everyone.
Right.
Hey, it's MJ Vallejo, host of the Creative Crucible podcast. Did you like that episode? If you did, I would appreciate it so much if you gave my podcast a 5-star rating. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it would help me out so much. And I would love your feedback as well. So go ahead and put in the comments on what you liked and what you didn't like, and maybe who you think I should have as a next guest. I'll see you next time.